Hiya folks, it's Kikoskia here and welcome back to Let's Play Quest for Glory 3 Wages of War. When last we left off we didn't best Uhura in a wrestling match, but it wasn't all for nothing because strength has now reached 300. We now have one stat and one skill at the highest level they can be. That being said, strength did have a head start on account of our genie wish in Quest for Glory 2. The next thing I want to do ideally is get agility up to level 300. That'll make us that much better in combat. And how are we going to do that? We're going to do that by walking over this balancing bridge. Now you may be thinking, Kiko, why don't you practice the wrestling moves? The jumping up and down and dodging left and right? The answer is, you can't. Once Uhura has shown you the tutorial on how to wrestle, you lose the ability to practice that. All we can do now is use the bouncing beam to go over and gain stats that way, which is not a bad way of gaining that stat. But doing the wrestling balancing moves seem to be faster. Still, this is pretty speedy. And we get to watch Derek's sweet balancing moves. Look at that hero, heroically balancing. He's had 2 games to practice. My, is he good at it. Fighting is going to be how we improve our weapon use, dodge and parry. And so far we've only encountered 2 types of foes. The Saurian Croc, that I was accidentally calling a Saurus Croc, and the giant ants. There are going to be more. Many more enemies, including leopard men if we dared to go into the jungle. We're going to try our best to not go into the jungle for as long as possible. There lies plot, as well as places that we want to go for other benefits. That tree that we were told about by the Earth Pig seems very important, not just for its significance as a landmark, but also because the tree has special magic powers. Much like the Pool of Peace, the tree is going to be essential for some of our training efforts. Perhaps we'll go and explore the jungle later. Right now, we've just got to bounce across this beam. I wonder what stats you need to have to fail this consistently. Maybe you always succeed and it's just related to how much stamina you have. Our agility, by the way, is now at 237. It's not doing badly. It could do better, though. It could certainly do better. Eventually it will become very dark, and when it does, we will have to go and rest. And once we run out of water skins with magical stamina water, we'll have to go out and get more. That's where danger could ambush us. But fighting is just another way to improve our stats. We don't need strength anymore. We'll always need other things. We could just do this all night. But as long as the game will let us. Unlike in Quest for Glory 2, we don't have a specific time limit to go and do events right now. We don't have to make sure we're at the inn by the evening to go get our meal or to see a dance. We can just train. I wonder if the people of the Simbani village are watching us with curiosity. Looks like Derek is really dedicated to bouncing across that walkway. He will make a fine warrior, I'm sure. 3 days later. It looks like Derek is still bouncing across that bridge. I wonder if he finds it fun. 3 more days later. We really need to think about closing off the bridge to Derek. He's just hogging it. Nobody else is able to use it. To be fair, nobody else has wanted to use it. That's not the point. It has to be open just in case somebody does want to use it. They tried to tell Derek that it's closed for repairs, and then he goes, "Oh, it's okay, I'll just repair it." And then he goes out on a quest to get some wood and nails, and before you know it, he's fixed the bridge, and he's climbing over it again. This doesn't consume stamina anywhere near as fast as doing the balancing training for the wrestling. I wonder if it consumes time as quickly. To be fair, when we were originally training here, Time was passing so quickly because we were resting. We're not resting right now. We don't need to rest. Our mind is locked into one thing, and that is training. You'd think that climbing up this rope would train our climbing, but it doesn't. Can we go from this side over to there? Oh, that's an interesting thought. Can we do that? No. Clicking this rope has us climb this rope. I wonder why. Maybe they didn't want to animate Derek going across the bridge the other way. Maybe. But either way, we now have a way to save ourselves tiny amounts of time. Very tiny amounts of time. By just clicking that rope. And the jaunty music continues to play. It's really good music. The combat music leaves a little bit to be desired, but I was about to say, but we probably won't be hearing it that often. Then I remembered that Derek is a fighter. Derek is going to be hearing that music a lot. How are we doing with our stats? Agility is now 245, and Vitality is at 226. We are not doing badly at all. Nearly halfway with Agility. Nearly halfway. We haven't had to use a single health pill either. We'll definitely want to make sure that we use them. We're not going to be able to bring them with us to the 4th game. There are very particular reasons as to why we won't be bringing those forward. So make sure you use all your consumable resources in this game. Also, make sure you save often. I'm going to be saving after this run over the bridge. I don't want to lose all the headway I've made. You can imagine Rakesh popping in occasionally and going, "So how's Derek doing? He's just been using the bridge for hours and hours and hours and hours on end." "Oh, has he been doing anything else?" No, just using the bridge." "You did say he was a hero, right? I am starting to doubt that myself. Maybe Shapir was a fluke. And Spielberg as well." This is what heroes do when you don't have an adventurers guild to get adventure-y quests. You go here to the bridge and you start climbing across it. This really should give climbing experience, this rope. Not much, but it should give some. Because training climbing in this game is incredibly difficult. There are only a couple of places that you can do it. There's also only a couple of instances where you can use your skills, if you're a thief. I was corrected when I said that, in the comments of a previous video, that mages don't get a huge amount of stuff to do in Quest for Glory 4. There is quite a bit in the 4th game for them, but not as much as paladins. The 4th game's all about paladins. And that's why we're not becoming a paladin, so that we could see the game as a fighter. The Diet Cola of Quest for Glory 4. All the stabbiness of a paladin with none of the magic or duty. And thus, we balanced. This reminded me of when we climbed the trees in the Oasis. Did a lot of climbing there. Ooh, it's starting to get dark. And we're at 257 agility. Well, the fun doesn't stop just because it gets dark, Derek. Off we go! Hard mode engaged. Now it's more difficult to see the balancing bridge. We shall go over here. And do this for as long as possible. I imagine when we start doing this again tomorrow, it's very likely that Ahura is going to come over and challenge us to a wrestling match. Gotta win that eventually. Not yet. Will give me an opportunity to get some more levels of agility and vitality, though. It's getting really dark. It's a shame we don't have a magic light. Or a torch. Balancing with a torch would be quite challenging. Although there'd be the non-zero chance of us incinerating the bridge. I do appreciate that the bridge is made out of many smaller pieces that can easily be put together and taken apart. The whole place, the Simbani village, has been built specifically to be moved, potentially at a moment's notice. Although ideally, they move with the seasons. So it's a semi-permanent place. That said, the Awari board being built into that rock, and the natural way that the spear throwing place is set up with those stones implies that they've been here quite a while. The darkness will not stop Derek from balancing. Nothing will stop Derek from balancing, apart from him getting tired. And that might do it. So we're now at 265 agility. This game is really generous with its stat gains. Vitality is going to be harder to raise, though. We're probably going to have to raise that over time with just going about, doing things, fighting. Luck? That's going to be a challenging one. I think the main way you improve luck is by winning a fight when you're at very low health. So that, I suppose, is how we'll be using our health pills. Going to low health, and when we get really, really low, we quaff a health pill, and then go at it again. And intelligence? That's going to be a worry. I'm going to have to get a lot better at a worry. Perhaps I should have put those genie wishes towards things like intelligence and luck. That would have made it much easier. I'd have only had to get 25 points of each. But I wasn't to know that was going to be a problem. And besides, you get the cool extra fighting moves when you put them in strength and weapon use. And we wanted to see that. Climb up here. I wonder if there are ways in Quest for Glory 2 to cheese the genie wish mechanic, so that you end up with more than 2 wishes. You could, of course, just edit your save file to give you whatever stats you like. But Derek doesn't want to cheat his way to success, unless it's through a genie's wishes. That technically doesn't count as cheating. That's an adventurer's perk. So let's balance over this again. I wonder if vitality just raises as you run out of stamina. I could believe that. We are now at 273 agility. This is going really quick. We might get this done tonight. In-game. It's morning while I'm recording this. It's a nice day too. Not too warm. And balance? Derek does. And he succeeds! And then he goes to do it again! And will probably fall flat on his face at some point. It is inevitable. At some point, Derek will be a doofus. They both start with D. But he also can be dangerous. Derek the Dangerous Doofus. It's got a ring to it. So how is our stamina doing? It is at 113 and we're 175 agility. But yeah, we could totally do this. Very quickly. And climb! We do. Yeah, we haven't had 1 point of climbing from that rope. Maybe climbing a rope isn't classed as difficult for Derek. Maybe it's just not a challenge. He does, after all, have 200 points in climbing. You can use the genie in Quest for Glory 2 to gain points and stats you have nothing in. So you could just become a spellcaster. It'd be a bit late for you to become a spellcaster at that point. I wonder if you can buy spells in Tarna. There'd only be one place you could buy them if that was the case, because you definitely wouldn't be learning them in the Simbani village. And you've got a totally different welcome if you were a spellcaster here. And we're like, oh, we will barely tolerate you because you have magic and we don't trust it. Playing through as a wizard must be a very different experience. There's a whole section of Quest for Glory 2 you never saw because Derek's not a spellcaster. And we prepare to go over again. What time is it? It is currently... it's quite a ways through the night. I wonder if the game will just let Derek practice all through the night. I wonder if it will. It might. Uhura then gets up. Wait, are you still out here, Derek? Derek's just half asleep, balancing across a bridge. He's that good at it that he doesn't even need to be fully awake. Sleep balancing. Now there's something I wish Derek could do. You can have as an option, rest or sleep balance, and then you wake up and you have 300 agility. I'd do that. Sacrifice a small amount of the stamina gain you get from resting. Sadly, no. We must click here. You could do that. That'd be the fastest way to do it, wouldn't it? This, that. Just constantly cycling between these 2 points. So you do that, and then you put it here, and you just wait. I could run. That might make it a little faster. That might make it a fair bit faster. It would also cost me a bit of stamina. It's worth it though, I think. We're definitely not sneaking. We're about as sneaky as the average goon. Okay, let's change our thing to running. There we go. Run, Derek! Oh, no, that is not what I wanted you to do. Do this. There we go. Although you did do it fast. You did do it pretty fast. Running, however, does not make you... That would do any good indeed. Running, however, does not make you use this part any faster. Have we got to level 300? I bet we got to level 280. Let's have a look. 283! We are very close. Come on, Derek. One final push. We can get to level 300. Then it's vitality. I imagine a lot of our stats going forward will be gained by fighting out in the wilderness, which will get us money. Not that we need money for very much anymore. Just hoarding money at this point. Could buy rations, I suppose, but rations can be bought for 1 common from the meat seller. Could buy more water skins. But do we need more than 6? Probably not. We can't buy better armor, we can't buy a better shield, we can't buy a better blade either. So what do you buy? Suppose this is what I get for saving so much money in the previous game. Let's get over here. And again, maybe the game just gives you 200. I'm not sure if you start with 200 regardless of how much money you had in Trial by Fire. I could see that. I could see the Sultan giving you a purse of money. Although if he knew we were going to Tarna, why didn't he give us royals and commons? Maybe he doesn't have any royals and commons on hand. It would make sense. Then again, I was about to say that he wouldn't have the money of Spielberg and Tarna, but there is a money changer in town. He could probably get that money. But could he get enough of it fast enough? Because he did only have a few days of warning. Perhaps he couldn't. Perhaps the only royals and commons that the moneylender had been given to somebody else. I could see that. Probably not a high demand for them in Shapir. Okay, how are we doing in terms of time? How are we doing in terms of stats? 294! We are incredibly close. We will absolutely be resting once we have done this, though. We'll need to rest, because we'll need to have at thee and explore about the world. I am shocked this has been so quick. Vitality will not be so speedy, though. It will not be so speedy. Let's rush over here. Just need to do this a couple more times, and we will be a master of balancing. Just not a master of being hale and hearty. Definitely not lucky or smart enough for my liking. We need more of that. I hope there are other ways to raise intelligence than... Oh, we are getting tired. How tired are we getting? Pretty tired. Do I... You know what? I use this. It tastes very refreshing. Did I say you could finish, Derek? No. Keep going. We must get to 300. We are so close. Just a couple more of these, and we'll be... This is where Derek just collapses of exhaustion and dies. With that in mind, I should probably save. It would be a silly way to go, but I'd rather not lose all this progress. Run, Derek! You're almost there. Almost there. Just need to do is a couple more times. And click the right place. And down we go. Over here we run. And then, next day we'll do some exploring about. There are probably other places we can find. Other enemies. We could always go back and visit the city of Tarna, see if anything has changed. We do need to find that thing for the goddess Sekhmet. So, we are now at 300! There we go, we've done it! Just like that, we are at maximum agility. And before it gets too late, we should go and rest. Our home is here. Our temporary home, anyway. There are other buildings, but these are the only three that matter. Horror, the guest house, and where the leader is. So, we shall rest. It's been a fine day. We shall sleep till morning. Bleh. You awaken as the sun begins to rise. And we now have 264 stamina as our vitality has risen to 228. So when we come back, folks, we're going to start working on our parry, dodge, weapon use, and maybe our luck. For if the only way we can raise our luck is by fighting when we're at low health, we're just going to have to roll those lucky dice. Try a hand at some dangerous combat. Dangerous indeed. But that'll be for then. And if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe if you're not. And if you are subscribed, press that bell for those notifications. And I'll catch you next time, folks. And I'll see you then. Later.